15. The Marvelettes. Motown's Forgotten First Ladies, released in 1961. Please, Mr. Postman, put the Marvelettes on the map.
Every time he would apologize.
Young high schoolers from Inkster, Michigan, who snagged Motown's first #1. But success came with scrutiny. Critics labeled them too raw, too girlish. And when Motown's spotlight shifted toward Diana Ross and the Supremes, whispers of favoritism followed. Radio DJs and industry insiders sometimes treated the group as yesterday's sound. Yet Smokey Robinson kept writing for them. And tracks like Don't Mess with Bill quietly proved their staying power. Listen close, and you hear a group that helped shape the early Motown blueprint. Underappreciated then, treasured now. 14. The Funk Brothers.
Actually,
you know, play the music for Smokey.
The Hitmakers nobody knew quietly. They played on more Motown hits than anyone.
The Motown group.
Well, I wouldn't say group, I'd go with Marvin Gaye.
And that's
bass, keys, drums, horns. The engine behind Marvin.
Did you ever think about that?
I think about it with
The Temptations, Diana, and more.
Now if you feel that you can't go on,
The Funk Brothers were studio wizards whose grooves powered hit after hit.
just ain't good enough. And you feel the world.
Yet for years, their names never appeared on the records and royalties were minimal.
And you need a hand to hold.
That invisibility bred resentment.
Much confusion until happiness is just.
Fans loved the songs but had no idea who made them. And outside,
and probably
Well, of course, Stevie Wonder.
I love the Supremes.
musicians sniffed that session players couldn't be real artists. It took decades.
You gotta know something about music.
I know something about music.
You know anything?
And the 2002 documentary Standing in the Shadows of Motown,
Sound of Detroit.
I know a little too much about music.
for their role to get the recognition they deserved.
I like to listen to Motown.
Yeah, I was brought up on that stuff.
Do you know about?
Their story is a reminder. Sometimes the most famous music hides the least famous people.
Come on, girl, reach out for me.
13. The Impressions. Too preachy for pop. Led by the visionary Curtis Mayfield, the Impressions gave soul music its conscience. Songs like People Get Ready and Keep on Pushing weren't just hits. They were hymns for the civil rights movement. But in the 1960s, not everyone wanted that message. White radio stations refused to play them. Southern promoters canceled shows. And even some black radio programmers avoided protest songs for fear of losing advertisers. Fellow artists whispered that the group had become too political, drifting from romance into rebellion. Curtis didn't back down. He believed soul music could carry both love and liberation. And though that stance cost them airplay then, it's what makes their legacy immortal now. 12. The Isley Brothers, Rebels. Without a label, before they were legends, the Isley Brothers were troublemakers. At least to the industry. when Shout exploded in 1959,
Now wait a minute.
it didn't fit into any box. Too gospel for pop, too wild for R&B. Labels didn't know what to do with them.
I feel
They bounced from RCA to Motown to their own imprint, T-Neck Records. A move that made executives furious, but gave them freedom. At Motown, they were seen as too loud, too independent, even arrogant.
I want you to know.
The label shelved tracks and offered little promotion, but the Isleys doubled down. In 1969, after leaving Motown, they dropped It's Your Thing, a defiant anthem of independence that said, "We don't need you anymore." Critics called them difficult. Fans called them revolutionary. They fused gospel fire, funk grooves, and rock energy years before anyone else. They were hated because they refused to play the industry's game. 11. The Bluebells, overshadowed and undervalued. Before Patti LaBelle became a solo powerhouse, she fronted the Bluebells, a group with golden harmonies and gospel grit. In the early 1960s, they were adored for songs like Down the Aisle and You'll Never Walk Alone. But by the mid-decade, when Motown polish and pop glamour ruled,
Don't do it, baby.
critics said the Bluebells were too old school, too churchy, even too loud. They were booed off stages when paired with newer, edgier acts. The press labeled them outdated,
At the first sight of stormy,
and industry insiders accused them of being stuck in the doo-wop past. Patti later said the group was dismissed for being too bold
ahead may be hard to see.
and not fitting the demure girl group image labels preferred.
I've wondered where in the world
Yet listen to their live performances. Raw, emotional, unapologetic.
I'm gonna make it work out somehow.
And you hear something timeless. They were real at a time when everyone else was being polished.
We've got so much to do.
The hate came because they were ahead of their moment.
We don't help ourselves. Nobody.
The Chambers Brothers, psychedelic soul outcasts. When the Chambers Brothers fused soul with psychedelic rock, they broke boundaries. And the industry didn't know how to handle it. Their 1967 anthem, Time Has Come Today, was wild, defiant, and drenched in reverb. A protest jam disguised as a trip. Critics didn't know where to file it. Hardcore R&B purists said they'd sold out to white rock audiences. Black radio was hesitant. White promoters were confused. And Columbia Records delayed the album's release for over a year. Because no one knew how to market a band that sounded like Otis Redding fronting Jefferson Airplane. But the message ran deep, beneath the fuzz and echo. was a cry for change, about race, time, and revolution. The Chambers Brothers weren't chasing approval. They were rewriting what soul could sound like. They weren't hated because they failed. They were hated because they dared to evolve. 9. The Dixie Cups, one-hit wonders, or industry pawns. When the Dixie Cups released Chapel of Love in 1964, it shot straight to #1 and became one of the most iconic girl group hits of the decade. But behind that sweet sound was a storm of controversy. Critics claimed the trio were just a studio project. Puppets for producers Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller. Not a real group. Others accused the label of using the Dixie Cups Creole soul to make black music safe for white radio. Even their follow-up, Eco Eco, was brushed off as a novelty track. They were dismissed as lightweights in an era when Motown's acts were being groomed for global stardom. Yet listen closely, and you'll hear something real. The rhythms of New Orleans, layered harmonies soaked in authenticity. And a sound that carried black Southern culture into mainstream America.
Look at my king all dressed in red.
The hate wasn't about talent, it was about control. The Dixie Cups were pioneers of a sound the industry didn't know how to honor. 8. The Andantes, the voices. Behind the voices.
The company wanted the girls to stay, although they wouldn't.
You've heard the Andantes hundreds of times. You just didn't know it.
In high school, with two of the Andantes, Jackie and Marlene,
they were Motown's secret weapon.
In 1960,
the background singers who quietly filled in for famous artists on countless hits.
When things didn't work out for
Behind the Supremes, the Four Tops, Martha and the Vandellas,
and his then wife, Ramona Lyles, seeking fresh new
it was often the Andantes' flawless harmonies that made the record shine.
Andante Levane Dimps, born in New York and raised in Detroit,
but fans and even some of the artists had no idea.
Was very impressed by her soprano vocals. She then
Motown often replaced the original group members with the Andantes in the studio to save time
at Harth's Baptist Church, each being 12 years of
or ensure a perfect take. When the truth came out, resentment spread fast.
Contribution helped create the genesis of the most celebrated record.
Some called it fake soul. Singers accused Motown of deception.
I'm the Chancellor of Soul, Mike Boone, and you're tuned in to Soul.
And the Andantes, they didn't ask for the spotlight, but they caught all the heat.
Greetings.
They were never credited, rarely paid fairly, and never toured.
And engineers. Although the construction process was
just ghosts behind the groove. Hated for doing their job too well. Today, they're finally recognized as the backbone of the Motown sound.
The girls, the Andantes, because just like their voices,
proof that sometimes the real legends never get a name on the record.
Jackie Hicks, Marlene Barlow, and first
7. Booker T and the MGs, too white for some, too black for others. When Booker T and the MGs dropped Green Onions in 1962, That gritty organ groove didn't just redefine cool, it redefined soul. But behind the music was a controversy America wasn't ready for. They were one of the first interracial R&B bands to break through. Booker T. Jones and Al Jackson Jr. were black. Steve Cropper and Donald Duck Dunn were white. And in 1960s America, that was explosive. Some southern venues refused to book them. White stations hesitated to play black music. Black promoters worried their audience wouldn't accept white musicians on stage. Even within the industry, people whispered that they didn't look right for soul. But Booker T and the MGs didn't flinch. They became the house band for Stax Records, backing Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, Wilson Pickett, and dozens more. Every note they played pushed integration forward, one groove at a time. They weren't just a band, they were a revolution with rhythm. Too funky for segregation, too bold for silence. And that made them targets for both sides. 6. The Platters, legends turned lawsuit lightning rods. By the time the 1960s rolled around, the Platters were already R&B royalty.
I'm wearing my heart.
Only You, The Great Pretender, smoke gets in your eyes.
Laughing and gay like a clown.
Their harmonies had defined the crossover soul of the late 50s.
Yes.
But success, as it turned out, was only the beginning of their troubles.
Real is this feeling of make.
When original members started leaving, the name The Platters became a brand.
Like a crown, pretend
And everyone wanted a piece.
or still
By the mid-60s, there were 4 different groups touring under the same name.
pretending.
Some with 0 original members. Lawsuits exploded across the country.
Of my own, I play.
Promoters didn't know who was real. Fans felt cheated.
Need is such, I pretend.
And the group's reputation started to unravel. Critics called it chaos. Radio hosts stopped playing their newer material, labeling it old people's music.
Believe too real when I
And while doo-wop was fading,
I sing to be.
the Platters couldn't shake the noise around their name long enough to adapt.
Yes, I'm the great pretender.
But here's the thing. When you hear The Great Pretender today, that ache,
Oh, yes, I'm
that elegance, still hits. The world may have turned on them,
me to dream all alone.
but the Platters' harmonies still echo like ghosts of a more romantic time. 5. The Contours, too raw for Motown's shine.
And you, it's too late.
When Do You Love Me dropped in 1962, it was pure electricity.
It's too late, baby.
Wild. Why people loved and hated them.
Man, it can break your heart out.
They were the sound of soul before it got a makeover.
I believe I'm falling in love.
4. Love, the band that refused to play the game. In the mid-60s Los Angeles scene, a world of flower power, slick record execs, and radio hits, Love stood out like a storm cloud. Led by the enigmatic Arthur Lee, they blended R&B, rock, and psychedelia into something totally their own. But that defiance came with a cost. Their debut album in 1966 was soulful, but strange. Too rock for black radio, too black for white rock stations. And when they released Forever Changes in 1967, critics hailed it as genius. But nobody knew what to do with it. The label didn't understand them. And mainstream America didn't know how to market a black frontman leading a band that sounded like the Byrds on acid. Arthur Lee made it worse, or better, depending on how you see it. He refused to play nice with industry executives, avoided big tours, and hated interviews. DJs who felt snubbed dropped them from playlists. Some critics called them difficult, others called them pretentious. They didn't care. They played by no one's rules. And while Love was hated, or worse, ignored, in their time, Forever Changes is now in the Library of Congress. Celebrated as one of the greatest albums ever recorded. They didn't chase fame. They chased art, and the world caught up decades too late. 3. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. One voice, too much drama. By the early 70s, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes were untouchable. A Philly soul powerhouse with elegance, heartbreak, and a velvet groove that melted speakers. But behind those harmonies was a storm of egos, money, and betrayal. The group had the voice of the decade, Teddy Pendergrass. That baritone didn't just sing, it commanded. Fans came to shows for Teddy, not Harold. But the name on the marquee still said Harold Melvin.
How about it, gang, for Harold Melvin and the mighty Blue Notes?
And the Blue Notes. And that's where the tension exploded. Harold was the founder. The businessman. The one who wanted control. Teddy was the fire that turned songs like If You Don't Know Me By Now and Wake Up Everybody into anthems. When the money and credit didn't match the fame, resentment grew fast. By 1977, Teddy walked. The group fell apart in slow motion. Their success shadowed by lawsuits, bitterness, and regret. Fans split into two camps. Those who thought Harold built the legacy, and those who knew Teddy was the legacy. Their music still aches with beauty. But behind every lush arrangement was a band barely holding it together. Sometimes, the most soulful songs come from the deepest fractures. 2. The Bar-Kays, a legacy born in tragedy. In the late 60s, the Bar-Kays were young, fearless, and on the verge of something big. They were Stax Records' secret weapon. The funky, horn-heavy house band that backed Otis Redding on stage and in the studio. Then tragedy struck. In December 1967, Otis Redding's plane went down over Lake Monona, killing him and 4 of the 6 Bar-Kays aboard. Only trumpeter Ben Cauley survived, bassist James Alexander had missed the flight by chance. The loss was devastating, not just for the label, but for soul music itself. When the surviving members decided to rebuild the band, it didn't sit well with everyone. Some critics said it was too soon. Others accused them of cashing in on Otis's death. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The Bar-Kays came back harder, darker, funkier, more determined than ever. They transformed grief into grit, helping define the Memphis funk sound of the 70s with tracks like Soul Finger and Son of Shaft. They were hated by some for moving on, but their comeback was never about profit. It was about survival, honoring their fallen brothers the only way they knew how, through the music. Out of ashes, they built a legacy. And that brings us to the most divisive R&B act of all time. The band that burned out from within.
Don't stop, go ahead, come on, do it now.
One, James Brown's famous Flames, the band that burned itself out. Before James Brown became the godfather of soul, there were the famous Flames. They were more than a backing group. They were the foundation of his rise. Bobby Byrd, Lloyd Stallworth, and others helped craft those early hits like Please, 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 and Try Me. They weren't just background singers. They were part of the fire that built James Brown's legend. But fame changes everything. By the mid-1960s, the spotlight had shifted. And Brown made sure it stayed on him. Album covers that once read James Brown and the Famous Flames quietly dropped the group's name. On stage, their roles were minimized. In interviews, they were rarely mentioned. Behind closed doors, the resentment boiled. Bobby Byrd, who had discovered Brown and helped keep the group together, felt betrayed. Others accused Brown of rewriting history in real time, erasing their contributions to build his solo empire. By 1968, the tension exploded. The Famous Flames walked, calling the environment Toxic. Brown kept the name, the fame, and the fortune. But the split left a wound that never fully healed. Decades later, when James Brown was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986. The Flames weren't included. Fans were outraged. It took until 2012 for the famous Flames to finally be inducted alongside him. 50 years late, but finally recognized. They were the spark that lit the fire. The rhythm behind the revolution, and though history tried to forget them, their groove still burns in every note of soul that came after.